when I was in the MA, like someone just emailed me. I was like, oh, Kanye wants to call you. So I was like, okay. So I gave him my details and shit. And then like a day later, he called me and we were just chatting for like a couple hours about random some clothes. Like it was a lot of tea though, but it wasn't just life and like what he's been doing and stuff. And then I went to Calabasas to their studio there. But like I didn't work with him then. I kind of just decided that I wasn't ready yet.
So you told him, you're like, I don't think it's time right now?
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? You're watching Kids Take Over right now in New York, chilling with the extremely talented designer, artist, creative. Like, what would you even call yourself?
I don't know. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, you do so many things, so it's hard to even like put it to one, but I'm with the talented Mowalola, you know?
Hey.
It's good to finally have you. What'd you do today? What you up to?
To work on music. Shit, yeah. With my friend Joey LaBeija. Yeah, we've been working on like my soundtracks from my shows. We work on it together. Like I don't know, do you ever listen to my soundtracks?
Yeah.
Not my music, but like my soundtracks.
Yeah.
They're just like a little retarded. But, like he gets it.
No, I feel you.
It's gonna be a hot summer. ISIS gang spreading misinformation and mass propaganda.
But I want to give you your flowers because I know you've been in the game for like a long time actually, but it's like the past year where I have just like I cannot escape seeing your name. That's an amazing thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean I like what I do, so I'm glad I get to do what I do, you know? Like I'd hate if, I don't know, I chose a different reality that I didn't really fuck with and my life would be completely different.
Well, I want to get the whole like blueprint because, you know, I know your parents were creative, so I feel like at least that allowed you to like go and move and go do creative stuff. But like, were you born in the UK or Nigeria?
So I was born in Lagos and I lived there, I went to school there till I was like 12. But like my parents were always really supportive of like anything I wanted to do creatively because they did, like, they're both designers. Like, I feel like in Nigeria, like, parents don't really appreciate, they haven't in the past, like, appreciated the kids doing, like, other things that's not, like, a doctor or, like, a lawyer. So it's, like, my parents were just, like, they understood the fact of, like, letting their child just be them, you know? That was especially the reason why I wanted to go to school in England, because in Nigeria, they just didn't really take, like, art that serious.
What made you want to go to the UK rather than going to like
America?
Yeah,
I have a British passport, so it was easy.
Lucky.
Yeah.
What age did you want to know that you wanted to do like creative stuff, or were you just like not sure at first?
My whole life, like I would go to work with my parents all the time and just like be doing my own thing, like in the corner. But I've always just like making things, like whether it be like some stupid invention to like make my life easier, or I don't know, just random shit. I just liked making stuff.
Yeah. Were you one of those kids where like when you grow up and people ask like, oh, what do you want to be when you're an adult? You're like, I want to be an inventor. Like, was that ever a thing?
No, I think my mom always trolls me now. She's like, when people would ask me what do I want to do when I'm older, she was like, I'd say, oh, I want to be in a limousine and I want to be, and I'm just like, girl, like how was that my dream?
Yeah, it's not a career.
I think it just meant like I wanted to enjoy my life, like whatever I was doing. I just wanted to be something that I could just live.
Yeah.
And then I went to like a all-girls Catholic boarding school in London at first.
Wasn't it a place called Surrey?
Yes.
You know what's crazy? I'm from Surrey.
What?
But I'm from Surrey in a whole different part of the world.
In America? Oh, in Canada.
In Canada, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's funny how it works.
What's Surrey like there?
Probably much different than your Surrey.
Yeah.
But regular, a lot of Pakistani, Indian people, you know.
Mine was like on a farm, like in
for real?
Like in a valley. So it's like before you even get to school, it's just like fields of like cows and shit.
Wow.
So I went to CSM, which is in London. So I did like a bit of everything, like jewelry design, fine art, architecture. And then like, I don't know, textiles was just the one thing that I really enjoyed. And then I wanted to do like textiles with fashion.
Well, what about, did you try doing like a master's program or something like after university?
I did. Because when I graduated from my BA, I didn't know, I felt like I wasn't ready yet to like start my brand. I felt like I still needed to like know more about myself, you know? So I applied to the MA and I got in, but like while I was there, it was crazy. Like I've never felt so not creative in my life. It's like every creative bone kind of like left my body.
From being in school?
From being in school. Wow. And I was like, I didn't really get it. I was like, why do I just feel so disconnected from this thing? And then like all my tutors, like they didn't really get what it was like I was trying to do with my clothes. Like when I tell them, oh, I want to have like prints of like black people on the clothes, they'd be like, oh, people are just gonna see it and be like, whatever. And I'm like,
they said that to you straight up? Oh, wow.
And I'm like, to them, maybe it's whatever, but like to someone like me, like I don't usually see that. So I'm like, it doesn't mean that to me. So I'm just like, when I think back on shit, I'm just like really glad I was super stubborn and I just dropped out. Because I was just like, they're not getting it. And it's like, maybe it's like the environment that's not making me feel like, you know, comfortable to create.
Well, what's your honest thoughts on school in general? Like for the kid watching this, that's like thinking like, like, you know, she made it this far and she did go get her bachelor's. Like, should I also go to school? I'm saying strictly for if you want to do like creative things. Like, what do you think? Do you think it's worth it or?
I feel like it depends on the person. Like, I feel like it is worth it. Like, I learned a lot about myself and like how I wanted to create. They give you the tools, but it's up to you what you make of the situation. So I feel like if you want to, I don't know, if you want to do film, you could literally just start making films and not have to go to uni, but I feel like you could just work with someone and you would learn so much more, like interning.
Yeah, 100%.
Or like shadowing someone,
Yeah, not even like the real internships, but just like when someone's like, yo, be my intern, you know?
Yeah, like, because even if it's, I don't know, it could be anyone, like, could be someone who makes music, anything you like, I feel like just shadowing someone, you just learn so much more. Like, in my internships, I learned more than I did at uni.
Yeah,
like, it was crazy. They don't really teach you about, like, what it's like to actually have a brand and, like, manage it, like, especially, like, the business side, like, when you not think.
Yeah, no, I bet. When you do it on your own, for sure, it's a lot. I mean, who in fashion were you like looking up to around that age when you were in uni?
It's crazy. I didn't really know much about fashion brands, like at all. Like, I remember like my partner at the time just kind of put me, he was like, oh yeah, this is YSL and this is who's designing for that. And I was like, oh, cool. And like, I really loved McQueen a lot. And then there's another one, it's called, I think it's like XULY.Bët, starts with an X. When I graduated, there was Worldbuilding. I really liked her stuff. Like, I saw her final collection when I was in my first year. And like, that was the first time I ever saw like a runway just be all black people. Like, I had never seen that before. And it was crazy because when I was in my foundation, I had to like draw like, my designs, I would just draw it on like white people because that's how I just saw like fashion. So just seeing her do that, it just made me realize, oh shit, like it could be anything I kind of want it to be. Yeah,
no, I bet that like really opened your eyes. What do you think to you was like your big break in the industry?
I don't know. I feel like different things people align to more. Like, for example, like my Walkman hat, like there's a whole era of people that are like deeply connected to that. And then there's like the wet tank, there's like a whole new set of people. And then with my shows, there's like other people as well. I like being able to do my collections because to me they feel like films. So I really get to just like create all these different characters and like bring the music and the fashion like together. Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you work with some pretty important people like early on. I feel like you did stuff for that Skepta music video.
Yeah.
You work with Kanye. Like, how did you even? Because you're telling me that you were kind of shy, right? Like, how did you get connected with these people, or were they just like reaching out to you?
When I was in the MA, like someone just emailed me. I was like, "Oh, Kanye wants to call you," so I was like, "Okay." So I gave him my details and shit, and then like a day later, he called me, and we we were just chatting for like a couple hours about random shit.
Like not even clothes?
Some clothes, like, it was a lot of tea though, but it wasn't.
Just venting tea?
Yeah, it wasn't really about design. It was just more about, I don't know, like, just life and like what he's been doing and stuff. And then I went to Calabasas.
Oh wow.
To their studio there. But like I didn't work with him then. I kind of just decided that I wasn't ready. Yeah.
So you told him, you're like, I don't think it's time right now?
Yeah.
Wow. That's kind of crazy because I mean, you can't, most people at that age would not be able to just be like, you know, I'm not ready yet. Like they would just go and take the opportunity, I feel like.
I feel like I could have gone, but I felt like at that point, knowing who I was the most important thing to me. I didn't want to go somewhere and get lost in someone else's vision and like just not know how to like create something with my own name, like outside of like Yeezy.
Yeah.
So I just didn't feel like it was right. And then he called me again like the next year and I didn't feel like it was right either. Wow. And then when he asked me to do North's birthday outfits, I was like, cool, like this I can do, like this is fun. And then yeah, after that we just developed like a creative relationship.
Yeah. So when do you think it was the right time? Because I would assume it's when you did the wet tank tops is when you guys are really working like closely together. Yeah.
It was like 2020. Like after I did that, he wanted me to do the Gap with him.
Yeah.
So we started on that, but it's like that whole year we barely worked on clothes that much. It was like we were like getting to know each other like creatively. You know, so, and it's like with me, I don't know, whenever I work with someone, I don't necessarily see it as like, okay, this is the output, like that needs to happen or whatever. I feel like it depends on the person and like how you guys create. So I feel like we just spend time like getting to understand each other's like language. And then like ever since that, like I work with him on different things like every year, like just low key. Yeah,
no, I feel, I mean, what was the inspo behind the wet tees though? I feel like, man, again, another thing I cannot escape. Like that's everywhere, you know. It's on every Pinterest board. Like, what was the inspo behind that? And because it was a really iconic moment, I feel like, for you.
Yeah, I mean, he found that fabric and he was like really obsessed with it. And I remember when I went to LA, it was me and like some of the other designers he was working with, and it was really cool because it just felt like going to school like again, and we were just like creating together. Now one day he was just like, we were making like text tees and then we were giving out like words to do. He came up with some of like the craziest phrases. Like they were so funny. One of them was like Kim Jones is washed.
Kim Jong-un?
Kim Jones, you know, he's like the Dior guy, the Dior designer.
Oh my God, I thought you said Kim Jong-un for a second.
No.
Like, because I would have believed that too, to be honest.
It was like more with fashion. You know how they make those like, I don't know, like text tees where they're just like trolling people.
Yeah.
So he was just being funny with it. And then like the wet one was just like really clean and just like, you know, sexy. So we printed that on like the tank, and it's crazy. Like he made like, I don't know, maybe over 100 different shapes of that tank.
Oh yeah.
Before he got to that shape that he liked. And then, but that was like almost a year ago. Like this time a year ago. And then like 6 months later, he was like, oh, where's that tank we made? And then he put it on Bianca, and I was like, you know, we should actually just drop it.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. Because with him, we could work on so many things, and it would never come out. Like,
how do you feel about that, though? Like when things don't come out?
I don't mind. Again, when I say, like, when I work with someone, I'm on, like, you know, their own creative, like, output. So whatever they feel like they want to do, I'm cool with this. Since we made the tank, I wasn't on him like, oh, please, can we drop this? Can we drop this? I was okay with it even never coming out.
I bet. I mean, what was your reaction to other people's reaction? You know, when people saw it on, like, Bianca and all these models, like...
I was shook. I mean, I love the tank, but I was kind of shook. I didn't see it becoming like the VLONE, female VLONE shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I love how many different people loved it.
I saw someone yesterday. I was eating my lunch outside the window. I saw someone wearing it. Also, I think I was watching an On the Radar freestyle, and there was this like a male rapper that was wearing it, and all the comments were like flaming him, you know, because when I look at the tank top and like the stuff that you work on in general, it doesn't seem like you do it like, okay, this is for the guys, this is for the girls, you know? So like when everyone was flaming him, I'm like curious, like what's your reaction to something like that?
Go off, like I feel like, I don't know, you wear clothes for like to express yourself, and it's like whoever feels a certain way, they feel how they feel. So it's all part of dressing.
Yeah.
I feel like my clothes are really like rooted in like sexual expression. And I feel like when you harness like your inner sexuality, it just makes you feel really strong and powerful. So I feel like whenever like all my clothes, like when people put them on, it like gives them a new sense of like confidence.
You know, since I know you love music, you know, I want to talk about all that. But like, since you were designing clothes with Kanye, were you also around for like music events like the Donda stuff and Vultures? Like,
yeah, I mean, I also, that's the thing, I work with him in fashion, but also with the music. So I connect him to like different producers that I work with that I like. I'll like send him songs and be like, okay, who did this? Like, I need them. And then I'll just like put them together.
I think so many people don't get to see who is like connecting someone with someone. Like, like Gabe, for example. Like Gabe has connected so many people in the industry, but no one knows. I feel like, so in the same way, you're like connecting Kanye with people and like other artists with each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool. You're kind of like an A&R in that sense.
In a way, I guess. But that's the thing. I like to see good shit. So if I know like, I feel like that's also a thing, like he has friends that are from all kinds of different like worlds. So it's like he's able to keep his sound so fresh. Because like I might know somebody and then someone else in a whole different world will know a different producer. But he loves, I feel like what I love about working with him is just like seeing how collaboration like really comes together, you know?
But everyone, you know, like I said, they see you on their feeds. But I bet you've been doing this for a long time, you know, and what they don't get to see is like the roadblocks that you faced on the way, you know? And I hear that fashion, just like music, comes a lot with like rejection and no's. And is that something that you face a lot, like coming up?
Yeah, it was, well, when I was in uni, I remember I like applied to like a couple internships and they all like turned me down.
Oh, wow.
And I was like tearing up, I was going through it because I was like, my life is over, like I didn't get this shit.
Yeah.
And then my mom was like, babe, like it's okay, like failure is actually not that deep. Like once you go through this, like it's only gonna get better. And I couldn't see it, I was just like, but I didn't get anything. And it was crazy because the fact that I didn't get all those internships I wanted, I went to like smaller ones. So I got to do more, so I got to learn more. And then I also just spent time by myself. Like I went to LA for like 3 months and just lived there. And I feel like that time just allowed me to figure out, okay, this is how I want to do like my final collection. Like this is how, like the way I want to go with my fashion. So I don't know, figuring like that, going through that, it just made me realize like, okay, shit, like when you fail, like your brain kind of just like works faster to like get over this little thing. So in a way it's like good. So now I'm just like, I don't really get scared about anything. I feel like whatever is happening, it's okay, we're gonna get through it. Like there's a reason why it's being that way.
That's such a trip though, to see how things come around, you know?
I know.
And sometimes it just makes so much more sense that it didn't work out, you know? But what was like, aside from that, you think like the hardest roadblock you faced in like the past couple of years when it came to like fashion?
Like I remember in 2020 when like COVID was happening and like, I think people were going through it with their factories and I was like, oh, I'm so good. And then it got really bad. Like it kind of hit everybody. And I remember like I think it was like the BFC was doing like, which is like the British Fashion Council. It's like they support brands. And they were doing like COVID relief, and like me and my sister spent like 5 days getting like all our accounts in order. And then we applied for it and they were like, nah, we don't think it would be necessary to give you any COVID relief. Like we don't really see your brand as something that's gonna like...
Wow.
I know. And when that happened, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm gonna figure out and make my own website so I can like sell directly. And then I got the Yeezy Gap job. So it was just like... It wasn't like, I thought it was like going to be crazy, but it ended up being really like a great year.
I mean, I think your spring summer collection was like some of your best work, you know?
Which one?
The one that, you know, you had BK modeling for.
The dark web one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything down to a T, even just like the music, the way it was filmed. You know, I'd love to know like I saw someone like BK walking that, but how much does music play a role in the clothes that you make?
I feel like it's everything. Because like when I'm creating something, it really comes from where I've been, like mentally, even physically, like where my environment has been. It really comes out through the clothes. So like I usually make like, I would make a playlist or just like sounds that like really inspire what I want to create. So I know, I just feel like music's always been like, I would say like the center when it comes to creating. You know, it's like my son.
It's like your son, you said? That's interesting. What would you say, or who have you been listening to lately, like music-wise?
Myself. Really.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, like, I listened to Rama's album. I really loved it. Like, I was, like, religiously playing that for the past, like, 3 weeks. But recently, like, the last 2 weeks, I haven't listened to anything other than the stuff I'm trying to make.
Was that the stuff that you sent me?
Yeah, some of it, yeah. I just needed, like, I don't know, like, a break, like, a cleanse.
Yeah. When you're making your collections, like, is there, like, a specific artist you go to?
There's, like, a couple songs that I, like, really, I don't know, they really hit me hard, like Night Call by Kavinsky and How Can I by, I think it's Mark Mitchell. Yeah, but it varies, like I feel like every collection kind of varies. Like the collection I'm working on for September now, it's called Dirty Pop.
Okay.
Well, that's like the same name as my album. And it just kind of describes the sound, like what it's like. I feel like I like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So like me just kind of putting it kind of all in one sound is, it's kind of messy.
I think, well, that's funny because like I'm sure when you do like the fashion show for it, like you're gonna incorporate your music in it as well, right? Yeah. You know, I think a huge reason for your success is like you're very open-minded, it seems like, and you are tapped into like artists like my age and like younger than me, you know? Like I've seen that you've like publicly rocked with like Fimi or like Netspend and artists like that. Tell me about that. Like, are you just like always like, do you have friends that just put you on to like new artists?
Yeah, I mean like I either like, yeah, it depends. Sometimes I find shit on my own or I'm hanging out with my friends and they playing something and I'm like, oh, who's this? And then, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw you were with like Brennan Jones.
Yeah, that was a random, at a show in like South London. And then my friend's like, oh, can he perform on your set? I was like, yeah, if he has his like USB or whatever.
Right.
And then he didn't have it, but then we met and he was just really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked his energy a lot.
That's what's up, especially when you get people to model for you. I feel like you get the right people that not are just like are hot at the moment, but like people care about and are making really cool stuff, you know?
I feel like they inspire me, so I see them in the world, like I see them in the world like I am creating, because I also love what they do.
Well, like on the music side of things, like how would you describe your sound to like someone who's never heard you before?
I feel like it is like dirty pop, because it's like a lot of different genres all in one, so it's not clean, it's dirty, but it's like, it's enjoyable, it's like fun, it's sad, unapologetic, yeah.
I think out of the three that you sent me, the ex-bisexual,
yeah.
I think that's the best one, to be honest. And it just got me thinking, like, you know, I think all three of them kind of sounded a bit different from each other, you know? But who are like some producers or artists that like you'd like to work with? I know you said this one's not going to have a lot of features, but who are some people that you'd like to?
Some people, like, I might just want to put them together and, like, kind of creative direct the track rather than actually, like, be in it, you know?
What's a combo you could think of?
You put me on the spot now. Let me think. I'd like to see, like, Data Black and JT on one song. That would be kind of cool. Because I feel like female rappers, like, I feel like American girlies work together, but then they don't really work with, like, the European...
Damn, that's kind of true now that I think of it, yeah.
Nigerian girlies. But I feel like we're all on the same shit, like...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you work with both of them, because I know you did, like, a Beats X Mowalola X JT thing. So I think you could easily make that happen, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I see, like, the Opium camp really rocks with you. Like, Carti was wearing this jacket you made. I think Destroy Lonely, he has this really sick snippet when he's like in the club and he's wearing, I think, your tank or t-shirt. What's your relationship like with those guys, like, and getting your clothes to them?
They just kind of ask for it and I give it to them. They might just send me shit they like and then we'll send it to them. Yeah, it's really simple.
So do you make like custom one-of-one pieces if someone asks you? Like,
yeah, sometimes.
Yeah?
Like with the Tims, I just kind of started making them because I wasn't actually making them with Timberland. I was just doing it by myself.
That's funny. Yeah.
So I did like a custom pair with like studs on, which I really fuck with. But it takes so long, so...
I bet. You kind of have to like look at what other work you're doing and be like, is this worth it? You know?
Like I have to say with like customs, I've kind of put a hold on it right now because some of them are just like really annoying. Like I feel like I don't really get to do what I want to do, and I hate being like micromanaged that much. So I feel like I only really want to do something where like someone really lets me, like, you know. And I feel like it works best when we actually have like a relationship.
Right.
You know?
Right, because you can like very freely talk about your ideas.
Yeah.
So was the Drake jacket a custom then? It was like Halle Berry, like...
That was like my first custom.
Ever? Really?
Yeah. It was before the Skep video.
Oh, wow. So how was that making, like, did he reach out to you? Did someone from OVO be like, yo?
Yeah, they reached out to me and they were just like, oh, I think it was his stylist, Melanie, I've forgotten her surname, but she was really cool and she just reached out and was like, yeah, they want to make this jacket. Like, can I do it? And I was like, sure. And it was like crazy because that was like the biggest paycheck I ever got from doing like a custom. In the beginning, I was just like, whoa, like, this is crazy.
At the time?
Yes.
Yeah. You're probably geeking out.
I was. And it's crazy because like people, I feel like no one really supports artists like that. Like he does, and I feel like Ye does. But like most of the time when people reach out to me for a custom, they don't really put value on like the time that goes in to making it.
Right.
Like they want me to do it all like on a budget, and it's like I'm an independent designer. Like I don't have like a Dior behind me, you know. I'm
true.
like operating, paying people all on my own. So
Yeah.
I just have to be turning them down.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And like you only have so much time in the day, you know, let's be real. Well, I want to ask you for some advice real quick because like I think our brand Kids Take Over is the name holds so much power, you know, like in its messaging. And like to me, like I would hate to like make clothes and just like post a picture of it and be like, guys, go buy this out now. I love treating things like an album roll up, you know? Like everything should have like a photo shoot or some sort of like visualizer or something, right? But I think the con to that is then you just like don't put things out, you know? What's your thoughts on that? Like,
I mean, I feel like now, if anything, like marketing your stuff is so easy. Like it doesn't need to be so like professional, you know? Like it could be the simplest thing. Like if you want to sell a t-shirt, you could literally have a video of someone eating a sandwich with the t-shirt on. Like I kind of like the really mundane, like simple, like, you know, campaigns. To me, they're just like kind of exciting. Yeah. I don't think you need to have any, like it doesn't need to be like a step-by-step. So, cause like, I feel like also one thing I like doing is like testing designs. So it's like if I post a picture or something, I might not necessarily make it, but I'm trying to gauge like, what's the reaction to it to know whether or not I want to do it or not. I just put it on my story and see what the vibes are.
oh, okay. Just see how many people DM you back. Or...
Yeah, but I do enjoy making like media to support the stuff I'm making because I feel like just doing the show is not enough for me. Like the whole collection is like its own world. Yeah. And I feel like people also kind of struggle not knowing how to like style stuff. So I feel like you kind of need to do that to like, for them to see it. Right. You know, like in real life, not just always like on the runway, you know, or on like a model.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, it's fun to like tell a story as well, you know, like I'm sure you don't just only like clothes, like you love films and you love music. So I feel you. I mean, I think a lot of people, I'm so curious to hear your thoughts on this. A lot of people have like negative things to say about like quote unquote like TikTok brands. I'm sure you've heard of that. For like the audience, like people that just like make clothes, but like they put like a 90% of the effort on like doing some like a bunch of TikToks that go super viral, you know, and like a lot of people don't like that. What's your thoughts on just that concept and like a lot of like young people doing that?
I support it. I feel like whatever feels like natural to you and like creating your collection or just like showing what you do, I feel like you should do it. I'm not so big on like policing people with how they want to express themselves, especially if they're young. And I like seeing different ways of it being done. Like, because for me, I've not really liked how like the traditional fashion world is, and how it's like, oh, you have to do these 2 collections every year and this and that. It just made me feel very like, I don't know, constricted. Like I didn't feel as free as I wanted to. Like maybe sometimes I don't want to do 2 collections a year, you know? And I feel like I finally figured out how it is I want to like create and drop my clothes and then not be so like part of this one, you know, industry.
Right. Yeah.
'Cause I feel like with my collections, they have felt like albums. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I put in so much of like my emotional like self and just what I've really been into. So like to be doing something like that back to back twice a year, it's not making sense to me. I feel like it kind of waters down what it is I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's like at the end of the day, yeah, I'm selling clothes, but I'm not just selling clothes. Like I'm really trying to combine again like all the things I really love into this one way of expression. Like
Yeah, well, you know, one thing like on that note that I've noticed about you is that like you know, we understand that art can be interpreted in like multiple ways, right? And like you've gotten like people mad at you being like, oh, why'd you put this and that, you know? How do you like navigate through that? Because it must be crazy that you spend all this time to work on something and it has this specific meaning, but then this whole other crowd is like, no, it means this.
I think people are just really ignorant. I feel like it says a lot about them than it does about me. Because I feel like whenever people get upset about anything I make, like the kind of things they say to me or what they're even trying to argue about, I just feel like, I don't know, it doesn't really affect me. Also, I feel like I've been canceled so many times. So like,
it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't see it as so serious.
Yeah.
I just feel like, again, like you guys are sensationalizing this thing because you need to be like, I don't know, upset about something right now. Like at the end of the day, like it's just clothes.
Right.
Like with the skirt that I made, it's literally just a skirt.
Right.
And it's like, I understand you being like, oh, your flag has this religious like scripture on it. And to me, I'm like, I don't see female like body parts as being like disrespectful to God.
Right.
Like my beliefs as a person don't really like, they don't have to align with yours, but I have my own beliefs the same way you do.
Yeah.
So it's like as much as you're free to say this and that, like I can also.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
So. Yeah, and I feel like people just, they forget what it's like to be a human. I think people like people just being one way. They don't like you showing your duality in like whether you're good and you're bad, you know? And I feel like I just like to experiment with things. I like to question things, and it kind of just, I don't know, it tells me a lot about like the state of the world.
Yeah. That's interesting you say that because yeah, there's, you know, I'll like read like the comments and stuff when you put stuff out, and it's like such a mix, like it just depends on like what crowd it is really, you know? But I think for the most part, you know, people, so many kids look up to you. Like there's a lot of people that have asked for us to get you on here, you know? I want people who are watching right now to like leave with one thing, right? So if you could say like one piece of advice to like the kid who, you know, maybe might want to do clothes or music or whatever, like what would you honestly say?
I feel like one thing that's been happening recently, people keep calling me weird, and I feel like I feel like it might be the best thing ever. Like I feel like get in your weird self. Like if anything, whatever you want to make, just make sure you take time to like pour into yourself. Like figure out what it is you like, and you can also just ask yourself questions. Be like, okay, what about the world do I want to change? Like what do I want to see more of? And I feel like those answers kind of come out with how you create. So it's like personal to you. But I want more people designing. I want more people just like doing what they feel like called for. Because I feel like it makes everything way more fun, you know?
Facts. Well, thank you so much for the inspiration. I bet people watching are going to be mad inspired from watching this, you know? But yeah, thanks for coming on. Like, honestly, it's been a minute since I wanted to get you on.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. I love your show.
Thank you.
I think you need to come to Nigeria, actually.
To Nigeria? Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I think, fingers crossed, because it might not happen, but I think we're supposed to have my interview.
Really?
Yeah. So that would be cool. Obviously not in Nigeria, but...
Yeah, but even there's so many other underground artists in Nigeria that...
Yeah? You got to put me on.
I will.
You got to make those happen. And also...
Especially in London, yeah.
Let's make that happen. Cool, this is Mowalola. You guys watching Kids Take Over. Yo, what up, y'all? Thank you so much for watching this Mowalola interview. I love the curation of guests we've been getting lately because it's been a lot of cool, influential women, you know, Pink Panthers, Molly Santana, Mowalola now, you know. So if you like this, please do click like and comment your thoughts on this. I want to read all of it. And who do you want next on the channel? Let me know that. Subscribe, of course. And I will see you guys in the next video. I'll try to make it sooner. I know I've been taking forever to drop, but yeah.